Hello, intuitive souls. This is Rachel Sawani with Intuitive Soul Rising. And today I wanted to do a video about healing and the power to heal. And I have Archangel Raphael with me. He has been wanting to step forward for a little while now to elaborate a little bit more about what it means to activate the healing capacity that is within all of us, to manifest more ideal energetic bodies and physical bodies, to help us align with our higher selves and our highest potentials. So I am just going to bring him forth. I realize healing is a broad topic. I'm not sure exactly where he wants to go with it. So I'm just going to let him touch on the key points or the main things that he'd like to discuss. He is standing right here, so I'm just going to tune into him right now and see what is it that would be most helpful for us to hear right now when it comes to healing and keeping our health in alignment with the higher frequencies. He's saying, yes, hello, dear ones. Thank you for allowing me to step forward to talk about this topic with you. He's saying it is a very expansive topic. He's saying so he's not going to go into all the details. He's going to try to keep it simple and as brief as possible. And he's saying to help us just, his purpose in this video is more so to help activate or draw our attention to some of the main points that are most important to be aware of or conscious of or know about when we are seeking out ways to heal our bodies of physical disease. So he's saying, yes, the first point is to note that all physical disease stems from some energetic imbalance within. And he's saying due to an emotional cause or a belief or experience where we were unable to express our emotion in an authentic and liberating way. He's saying when emotions get trapped or when they get kind of repressed or pushed down or siphoned off, when they're not allowed to fully come up and free themselves and express themselves or be felt within the body, they're not he's saying when you're consciously or unconsciously pushing these emotions down or not wanting to let them out or come up to the surface, he's saying that causes a feeling of holding inside the body, where your body will now take that feeling that was produced or there and hold on to it till a time that you are able to he's saying for a better time for release. He's saying the problem is, though, what happens is that you don't, or most people aren't conscious that they're doing this And they also don't realize the importance to free that emotion or to express that emotion or release that emotion from holding. So the body continues to hold on to it. And he's saying, and this goes along with how energy works. It cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed transformed into something different. So what was an emotion now becomes a blockage of energy, of compacted energy that the body is holding on to, that needs to be released, or at some point would need to be released because it needs to be expressed. And in order to express it, you have to acknowledge that it's there, or be willing to hear or see that it's there, be willing to free it. He's saying you can do that consciously, and that is what is recommended. He's saying many, many, many feelings get built up and stored in the body this way. He's saying, and over time, they collect in bundles. He's saying, so whereas like one feeling getting stuck may not be such an irritant to the body, but a lot of feelings or a pattern of feelings that are similar in frequency will bind together in the body. They will attract to each other because they are similar in frequency, so they're kind of like magnetic. So they'll kind of group together in bundles, in packets, and he says, and they'll be also stored in specific areas in the body that are associated with those types of emotions. He's saying so that different organs are known to hold specific types of emotions, and he's giving the example of lungs being where the storehouse for grief, for emotions that are related to grief. So he's saying, yes, there's packets and bundles of emotions that will, like a storehouse, like he's calling it a silo, if that's the right word. It's like where you store like all of the grain that you harvested for the year on a farm, and that's where you keep it. So yeah, he's saying they get stored up, and now he's kind of laughing and saying you start to rack up quite an emotional debt there, where he's saying at some point you've got to pay back that debt or honor that debt and release those emotions. He's saying, so the body truly does give you, provide a very loving service in its willingness to store these emotions. He's saying, for that is a task of the body, but it does interfere with the body's ability to regulate itself and balance itself properly. So now he's going back to the idea of how the body works as a holistic system. Harmonic balance is very important. Equilibrium, sustainability within all of the organs and within the entire system is very important. And he's likening it, he's showing it as earth, as what we can understand as the earth. So earth being the body of Gaia, the soul. So we know Mother Earth is known as Gaia. That is her soul essence and being, but she is housed in the body of known as Earth. He's saying, and when you look at Earth and you look at all of how the ecosystems work together and how everything is there to support and balance each other, you will notice when there's an imbalance in one, that creates an imbalance in another, and so on and so on. He's saying, so it gets hard to sometimes say what is the source of all of this, because over time, too many uncorrected imbalances will create a complete distortion of the true nature of what health even is or looks like. He's saying, and that's where many of you are, unfortunately, in your own experience of what you know to be healthy. He's saying you've been somewhat programmed by the masses to carry a very distorted picture or version of what health is or should even look like. He's saying you've become very, over time, desensitized to what it feels like to eat unhealthy. He says you've become accustomed to bad lifestyle habits that have a very negative effect on the body, and you see a lot of these habits as normal and accepted in a society, from a societal perspective. He's saying, and yet they are very opposite of what the body needs to stay or express itself in its most vibrant, healthy form. So he's saying, so just be aware of the programming, the conditioning that's out there when it comes to what is considered healthy. So he's drawing my attention to food, for example, and he's saying a lot of the diets, what we would consider a normal diet or a normal way to eat, is not efficient for the body and helpful for the body to run efficiently. And he's saying the quality and the quantity of your foods is very important. He's saying the quality, meaning where your foods come from, knowing the source, understanding the impact of eating low vibrational foods, foods that are lower on the food chain, in terms of, hold on, let me check in with what he's saying here, because I don't know if I got that last part right. Lower on the food chain. He's saying foods that are not aligned with the highest love and vibrational love and light. So he's saying foods that are plant-based are the highest, most purest quality of energy for your bodies to process. But he's saying that even those foods have been somewhat manipulated. So it's important to source your foods correctly, just making sure that you get them from no chemicals, not processed, no GMOs, like all mostly organic, whole foods he's showing me. And then he's also mentioning the meat industry, as in the mass production of meat and the fear and suffering that go into the production of animals, or the manufacturing of animals as if they were just products. They're actually living conscious beings, and it's important for us to respect and honor that, and to be conscious of the foods that we're choosing to eat and how they may affect our bodies. And he's talking about our emotional body, actually. He's saying that these foods do affect our emotional body, and he's going back to, and all disease comes from our emotional body, essentially, and trickles down into, over time, presents itself as a physical disease or manifestation in the body. He's saying because when you eat a being that was conscious, you take on the consciousness or the expression or emotions that were stored in that animal's flesh, he's saying. Just like we have emotions stored in our bodies and systems, there are emotions are also stored in the system or the animal's body. And if we're eating that animal, we're gonna pick up, or essentially we're intaking the emotions of that animal had in its lifetime. So he's saying be very careful and aware of just, of that factor. He's saying, the fear factor. Did that animal experience suffering and fear in its life, or was it loved and treated humanely and with respect? He's saying it makes a difference. It makes a difference. He knows not everybody is tuned to wanting to be a vegetarian or a vegan, and that is okay. He just wants us to be aware that there are more aspects, components to choosing a diet like that than just simply nutritional aspects. He's saying it's really the consciousness component, that understanding of how the emotional body works, and how that can be passed down into your own emotional body if you are not conscious. So I feel like he wants to switch gears and go back to emotions being stored in the body. He's saying, yes, how to release. He's saying, essentially healing is all about releasing the stored, repressed emotions and allowing them to be free flowing once again, and to express themselves. And he's saying this is called what they call, or what we call, emotional integration. He's saying it's the opposite of repression, it's integration. It's allowing ourselves to process the emotion, allowing ourselves to feel, express, honor, and allow, he's saying, the emotion to come forward, and without judgment or attachment. He's saying, so when they talk about releasing the emotion and releasing the block and expressing the emotion, he's saying there are ways to express emotions that don't involve shame or judgment or guilt. So he wants you to look at emotions as just natural expressions. And now he's showing me like weather patterns. He's using this analogy, like when the sun comes out and it's sunny out, you enjoy the sun. You do things that are fun to do when the weather's warm, pleasant to do when you have sunny conditions. He says when, on the other hand, he's showing now when it's raining outside, you will do things that you will adjust the way you do things depending on the weather, or how you view what's possible, or what your plans are. He's saying the weather affects your plans, but do you get mad at the weather, or do you judge the weather? Like, yeah. He's showing me that the weather just is. It's a neutral expression of energy. It's not that the weather is right or wrong. There's no right or wrong about the weather. It just is, and you accept it as it is. And yeah, you might not like the weather for the day if it was not conducive to what you had planned to do, or if it's just not impacting you in the way that you were hoping. But he's saying, but you nevertheless, he's saying, emotions are the same way. They are shifts in mood, shifts in energy. Sometimes he says you will get a feeling of like you're just being flooded with emotions. Some you're going through cycles. That's what he's calling it, cycles of energy. Just like there's seasons. There's times of the year where things are cold. Do you see the plants like dying, or not, or refusing to blossom? He's saying in the spring, because during the winter it was really cold and all their leaves dropped. No, they learn to sustain and thrive, and they accept the conditions they're given, and they still grow, and they still bloom, and they still find their vibrancy and their love for life and for their self-expression. And so that's what he's kind of showing us, our viewpoint with emotions. And I'm not sure I'm explaining that exactly how it's coming, but yeah, if you look at it like a weather, the patterns in weather, then I think you'll kind of see it a little bit more clearly. You just let the weather come. When it's cloudy, you know that the clouds are going to pass, he says. It's not going to last forever. So he's saying allow yourself to have that human experience. He's saying you were given a range of emotions for a reason, and it's to experience, to have the capacity of what it means to feel, to love, to feel connected, and then to feel the difference of maybe when you're disconnected. There's many types of expressions of emotions, and he's saying there's a wide spectrum, but just part of the honoring the emotion requires you to not get lost in the emotion, too much activity in the throat chakra here, not allowing yourself, he's saying, to get lost in the emotion and not over identifying with the emotion. So just looking at it as a weather pattern, and allowing it to come and be, and release and express. And he's showing, if you feel energetically down one day, allow yourself to feel that, but feel it with awareness, he's saying. Don't abandon yourself in the emotion, but he's saying that the trick is to step back and be the still observer, or the I am presence within your mind, the witness mode. So when you're able to stand back and kind of witness and not allow yourself to attach your identity to that emotion. I'm feeling this, therefore I am this. I must be that because I'm having this emotion. He wants you to just, look at the emotion from a more distant perspective, and try to see what the message is, he's saying, in the emotion. So, and he's saying there's always a message. And he's saying, and that's the most important part when it comes to integration and processing, is getting the message, receiving the message. He's saying that's the guidance. That's where you begin to, he's saying, shed the layers and rebirth that new version of yourself, that stronger version of yourself, because now you're shedding a layer of something that is a pattern of believing, or there's an energetic pattern there that is wanting to be seen and understood. And he's saying that all emotions come from beliefs that are fear-based. Well, he's not saying all emotions, he's correcting me. He's saying all emotions that are negative in their expression come from fear-based beliefs. He's saying, and not to be hard on yourselves for having negative emotions. He's like, because again, this is part of the human experience, but he wants you to just understand that this is part of the ascension process. This is part of what it means to wake up, to become more spiritually active and aware, is to understand that there's a reason why things manifest, and that reason is for your highest growth and your highest good. So if you are experiencing unpleasant emotions, try to become more conscious of what belief is behind the emotion that may be blocking you from having that more aligned, high vibrational experience that you are desiring. And that could also, over time, or be lending itself to a physical manifestation in your body, because taking it back to the body, he's saying these emotional bundles or blocks in the body, in the energetic body, in the emotional body, are going to, over time, manifest into the physical. And that is also your body's way of showing you and sending you a message that, hey, there's a problem over here. We've got a storehouse of emotions over here that are ready to be released. And because they're becoming too much of a burden for the body to carry, they are going to manifest in a way that is symbolic or representative of what that emotion is. Essentially, he's saying not allowing the body to do that the body wants to do. So if there's something plaguing the body, it's going to show up, or if there's a type of emotion that wants to be released, it's going to show up in a way that the body will express, that will kind of signal he's saying there's like some symbolic mirroring going on with the emotion that wants to come out, and the body's way of expressing it through the physical disease itself and the symptoms of that disease, what wants to be said and what wants to be seen. So he's saying, you know, there's some connecting of the dots that could go on there. If you really wanted to dig even deeper, you could go into the actual symptoms that are manifesting and what those symptoms might mean on an energetic or emotional level, or from a spiritual perspective. What are those symptoms telling you to do, and what might be the root cause? What beliefs might be causing those restrictions or symptoms to show up? So he can see that I'm getting a little bit not tired, but just conscious of time. and the length of the video itself. And so he said that he will go into more detail about some of the techniques we can use and how we can call on him and other higher dimensional beings of light to help and assist us with cleansing and clearing and purifying our body of any emotional blocks that might be harming us in the physical way, or manifesting as physical disease, and how we can really set our intention and focus on clearing those energies. So I would like to thank Archangel Raphael. First of all, he was very much free-flowing with information today. I feel like he could definitely go on this topic for a while because there is so much to talk about. And so I do appreciate you, Archangel Raphael, for kind of recognizing where I was at and agreeing to come back at a later time to do more of work with us on that. I would like to thank you all for watching. I've been wanting to do a video on healing for a while, and so now I'm looking forward to making this as the first video of part of a series of videos that will focus on the power of healing. So hopefully you found this helpful in some way and or enjoyed this. If you did, please be sure to like the video. Feel free to subscribe to this channel if you like this content and would like to see more content like this. If you have any questions for Archangel Raphael or any experiences with healing with Archangel Raphael, please share in the comments below. And yeah, I also have, you can find me on Facebook as well. I have a Facebook blog called Intuitive Soul Rising. I'll leave the link at the bottom of this video for those who would like to join that blog. I do post a lot of channel messages on there as well, similar to here. And yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a great day and rest of your week, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. Bye.